of course, the example I gave you is extremely unlikely, and it's not going to happen at any point in the game. But I'm just saying, just an example, just throwing it out there.
Yeah, and my first champion that I picked to buy was Renekton. And I had a lot of fun playing Renekton, and I still play him often. He came into popularity just recently again. I don't know why he came into popularity. They didn't change anything about him, but it's just one of those champions that people pick back up and they're like, let's try playing Renekton again. Let's see how he does, you know. And another one that's come out randomly is AP Tryndamere. Nobody's changed him. They haven't touched him, and then they're like, let's pick AP Tryndamere back up, and we'll start playing him again. So they kind of rotate through, and even if they're not changing them, sometimes they change other champions or items that make certain champions really strong, like the Black Cleavers or the Blade of the Rune King. You know, those are all kind of game-changing items that have effect on the game as a whole.
Yeah, that's true. And for every, I like how Riot just keeps sort of the ball rolling when it comes to balancing the champions, because they pay attention to how certain champs play and the counterplay to them, and they make sure that the counterplay isn't too harsh on them. They make sure that their playing style is to their liking and that it's balanced towards the whole game, because they want certain champions to have certain strengths and certain weaknesses, and they want those weaknesses and strengths to stand out so that people can take advantage of them.
Yeah, it's great to see, and I like the complexity of this game, as it can still be very simple as well. Like there's so many levels of strategy and meta in the game, and teamwork playing a very important element in that. But at the same time, you only have a few abilities. There's only a set amount of items in the game. You know, every game you level up from level 1 to 18. It never changes. It's not like you have to have a character at max level. I mean, getting your account to max level is important to kind of have access to all the runes and masteries. But even then, a level 1 account is not completely gibbed. You know, you're not going to just lose because they're a level 10 account and you're level 1. So I really like the multi-level and how complex a game can be with so few abilities to be used.
Yeah, the simplicity. Yeah, I like the simplicity, and you can play each champion differently. Like as you said, everything can be so simple, yet you can choose from a variety of ways to play a certain champion. You don't have to play AD Ezreal. You can go AP. If you want to, you can even go jungle Ezreal. Jungle Ezreal actually works, guys. I'm telling you this. I've jungled Ezreal before. You can jungle Orianna if you actually wanted to. It's wild what you can do with some champions. You don't have to play the way that it's intended to play. Just like AP Tryndamere. AP Tryndamere was not meant to be played AP at all. Tryndamere was supposed to be built as an AD bruiser or a carry. You build him AP and you press Q and your whole HP bar refills. They were not intending that, but you can play it that way. That's the thing. Like it's so simple yet so complicated at the same time, and it's beautiful that way. That's what makes the game special.
Yep, and we are into the picks and bans here. The bans being Blitzcrank, Master Yi, Jace, Kha'Zix, Nidalee, and Misfortune. Those top 3 that we talked about, not all 3 were banned, and Blue Team grabbing that Lux as their first pick right there. The Kha'Zix ban is really interesting to see because we haven't seen anybody even play Kha'Zix yet. Misfortune we've seen be very strong, her bullet time being great with combination of like a Jarvan ultimate or a Sona Crescendo, and her just laying out the damage right there. Master Yi, we've seen an AP Yi do a great job. They didn't actually win the game, but Master Yi came through with a great score. And then Jace being all around, you know, just being an all-around boss, going to the skies, being able to drop people down, being able to catch them out. We saw some good flash engagements from Jace a couple games ago where he'd actually acceleration gate in, jump onto them, flash, and then knock them back towards the other team. And then the Blitzcrank and Nidalee are pretty self-explanatory. I mean, nobody wants to get hooked, and we saw one Nidalee today, and she dominated the game with spears. She was just single-handedly chunking down the whole team and winning the game before it even got into a team fight.
That's true. And also we have a Kog'Maw being picked up here, and I love Kog'Maw. Early on, I was trying to go through some champions in my mind, which I could predict for this tournament, and Kog'Maw was in the top 5. We haven't seen a lot of Kog'Maw. We haven't seen any Kog'Maw, I'm pretty sure. But Kog'Maw is an amazing poker at level 6. His ultimate, it's just amazing for poke. Whether you build an AP or AD, it does a ton of damage. And plus, with his W, he does an insane amount. I'm pretty sure his W is his gives him the range, if I'm not mistaken. Could you recall what that's called exactly?
It's you know what? I can't even think of it right now. Pyro Barrage is his
ultimate.
No, Living Artillery is his ultimate.
Yes, his ultimate.
Pyro Barrage is his W.
Yeah. I was thinking of one of the two. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Flan pulls it up. Living Artillery is his ultimate, and Bioarcane Barrage is his W.
Huzzah. Sometimes there's the co-caster, we co-cast our Pentacast Productions casts, and Octavia will sometimes ask to be kind of like a trivia game where I'm like, so who's this person's ultimate? Who's this person's ultimate?
Oh,
you remember this person's ability? You remember this? And it actually does help that when you get into a team fight, you know that the Chain of Corruption's coming out, the Unbreakable Will, the Cyclone, the Death Lotus, the Final Spark, the Cataclysm. Like, I know a lot of these ultimates just from saying them a lot, but at the same time, the more you practice them, they're like right there at the tip of your tongue. You just drop them out. I mean, it's really nice to be able to just kind of flow with your casting to remember all the abilities.
Yeah, that's true.
But in team fights like these, you'd be lucky to even have time to say each ultimate as it goes down, because these 5v5 fights, they're just smashing into each other at full speed. So it's really difficult, especially when they have really long ones like the Hyperkinetic Position Reverser. I mean, we haven't seen an Urgot, but there's no way you can cast that in a team fight. Maybe like a 2v2 bottom exchange, you could say it, or after the fight, but never in the fight.
Just saying it requires like a good 2 seconds of your time, and in that 2 seconds, a bunch of other ultimates can go down at the same time. So speaking of ultimates, we have Nunu here with the Sub-Zero. I'm pretty sure it's Sub-Zero. No, Absolute Zero. I'm sorry. I'm forgetting now. Absolute Zero in a team fight, which covers the entire lane, which will be absolutely devastating in a team fight, along with Brand's ultimate, which is Pyroclasm. I remember that. And Jarvan's Cataclysm, which is obviously going to dominate the entire team fight for purple team. That's what I'm thinking is going to go down.
Yeah, they're going to... I mean, the Lux pick is so strong, and it's one of those things where I just feel like it should be banned all the time, just because of her ability to bind somebody, and then we're going to have a free Pulverize. Like when they're binded, it's going to be a free Headbutt Pulverize. If you get a good bind on something like the Kog'Maw or the Brand, you can just follow up with the Chain of Corruption from Varios, lock them in position, and then have a Cyclone flying in there, and they're going to have great engagement just followed up from an ability that's only got, when she starts getting CDR and towards max level, it's like an 8-second cooldown. So you can spam them. You don't have to hit them all, and you can drop them out there, and you can just chunk one person and turn that fight into a 4v5, which is how you can command the games and push down towers.
That's true, and you also open up the team fight to your assassin too, which would be Katarina. With all that CC stunning people down, nothing will stop Katarina from unleashing her Death Lotus onto everybody on the team. You have Jarvan, who has the potential to unearth all of Katarina's abilities, but he can't do that if he's being pulverized and stunned all at once. Like, you can't do that. Brand could have the potential, but it's really hard to land that combo if Katarina's standing behind Alistar and Lux and Varus and Wukong. It's impossible. If Katarina has good judgment, she will decimate every single team fight. Well, she obviously does if she has good judgment, but there's not a lot of hard CC on this team besides Hecarim's knockback and the knockup from Jarvan. Brand's CC is highly situational. I don't think he'll be able to do a lot in a team fight to Katarina.
No, it's definitely not something that you can lay down and rely on, especially with a line of sight stun that you have to have already hit them with one of your abilities first. I mean, unless it's 1v1 and she's chasing onto him or something, is the only way he's really going to be able to land it reliably on her. And interesting to see Flash and Barrier come out from that entire team. And then Flash and Barrier come out from the whole blue team except for Cat, who went with an Ignite. So we'll see if she's able to kind of get that one kill she needs to get the resets and, you know, go crazy on their team with the Death Lotus. But I'm definitely, as far as the picks have gone, I feel like the blue team has the biggest advantage. They have a good front line. They have multiple airborne CCs. They have good poke. They have a great AD carry. And the only way that they're going to be in trouble is if their carries aren't in the right position. If their various Cat and Lux aren't positioned correctly and they leave themselves open to get knocked up by Jarvan and locked into a Cataclysm and then to be followed up by, you know, Hecarim ulting in with the Onslaught of Shadows, I think that that could turn the game around for them. But I feel like they're going to have to misplay in order to lose this game.
Yeah, that's true. I kind of agree with you, but I sort of don't at the same time. I think that they're gonna be trying to get to that Kog'Maw in an immense fashion. They're going to push towards that Kog'Maw. They want that Kog'Maw because Kog'Maw, look, it's a Monarch Kog'Maw. Look, it's so harmless, but yet so powerful at the same time. So Katarina is going to want to assassinate Kog'Maw as fast as possible. She wants to get in, get out right away, and join the team back again when she's ready. But they also have to get rid of Hecarim and they have to get rid of Jarvan in order to do that. Those are their two front lines. Their back line is going to mainly consist of Nunu, Brand, and Kog'Maw. Nunu might stick his head in around level 6 to let loose his absolute zero just to kind of throw everybody off. But I think Alistar is going to save his Pulverize exactly for that moment when Nunu comes in. Because other than that, they have no hard CC to stop him with. Actually, no, that's a lie. They have the Wukong ultimate and they have the Lux Snare to do that with.
Yeah, the Lux Snares are always going to be clutch. And I don't think I'm not going to beat Flan into the game this time. But I'm going to try. But you know, the Lux Snares can be game changing. Maybe she's not maybe Ace Killa's not a pro with Lux. Maybe we're not going to see some really good snares. At the same time, one thing we haven't hit upon is the sustain. Alistar with his Triumphant Roar, we've seen him keep teams popped up poke over and over and over. Like he just spams it, and we see a lot of Alistars actually ranking that up first and keeping their team topped up from the poke, whereas there is no sustain other than Nunu's Consume on the purple team.
Yeah, that's true. But you also have to take into account that Nunu with his Blood Boil will help Kog'Maw chunk people down immensely. Alistar's going to be building health. Katarina's probably going to be building a Warmogs for the extra sustain, and so will Wukong. So Kog'Maw's percentage damage plus Nunu's Blood Boil will increase their damage output immensely. They're going to be in there getting damage out and getting out at the same time. They need to protect that Kog'Maw as much as possible or they're going to lose that team fight.
Yeah, it's going to definitely be protect the Kog'Maw. And he really doesn't get strong, though, until level 7 or 8 after he's gotten an item or two. Even with the Blood Boil, his damage won't be that formidable. In the mid-game, he'll be very strong, but if he goes Glass Cannon, I don't think they're going to have a way of stopping the Wukong from getting to him or the Katarina to getting to him. I mean, they're going to be able to stop the Alistar from getting to him or peeling the Wukong off of him, but I don't think they're going to be able to peel the Wukong and the Cat off of him, or stop the Alistar and the Wukong from just diving in on him. So he did start with Double Doran's Blade, so it's going to make him a little bit tankier. He'll have a little bit of extra HP towards the beginning of this. The starting items really, really standard. Alistar obviously going to support mode with the Philostone and the Emblem of Valor. This Wukong is actually going to go with a single Doran's Blade. We see a lot of them go on the double Dorans at the beginning of the game. But Cat going right for the spell pen from that Haunting Guise and making Laundry's Torment to get the % health damage down, which I think she's going to need versus the tanky team that Purple has.
Yeah, I'm surprised Hecarim didn't actually go for a Giant's Belt along with Jarvan. I think to actually commit to a team fight, they're going to need as much tankiness as possible to survive all that burst damage. from Katarina, from Lux, from Wukong, from Varus. They're going to need that tankiness to survive, or else they're going to lose that team fight immediately. As for all the sustain, I think you're right. Alistar's going to keep them topped up. And if they don't dodge the poke from blue team, they're going to have a really hard time.
Yeah, like the early Lux bindings and light grenades. There it is, the catch right there.
Wow.
Onto the Kog'Maw, forced a flash out. He got chunked down almost instantly from one light binding, the grenade, and then the combination of people just jumping in on him. They didn't wait for even half a second. They knew they got the Kog'Maw. They made him burn both summoners right there. Cat didn't even ignite him. If Cat ignited him, he might have died. It was very close right there. So now he's got to be very, very cautious. And Nunu is also very low. He can't even make use of his consume, which he hasn't gotten yet, to get up there and sustain a little bit.
Yeah, but you see that they needed to play protect the Kog'Maw. They still need to, because Kog'Maw is their only giant source of damage at this point, because they all need to build tanky. Brand is going to be with them in the mid game for the damage, but late game they're going to need to rely on Kog'Maw. And if they don't protect Kog'Maw in the beginning, Kog'Maw is going to get really behind late game, even if this is Murder Bridge.
Yeah, it's going to be an uphill battle for a purple team until everybody hits 6. Their early game prior to everybody being able to ult and having those great counter engagements and stuff is going to be really rough. I mean, we see Lux landing the light bindings and doing even more damage right now. There's just no way for them to kind of jump in and counteract it, because if they get too close, they just eat all that burst damage coming out of Cat and Wukong.
Yeah, Hecarim's W is desperately trying to heal him back up to at least half health. They're already popping almost all their potions. I'm pretty sure Brand is the only one who has any potions left. Health potions, that is. Whereas we see that Wukong, Varus, and Katarina do have their potions left. And not to mention that Alistar does have that Emblem of Valor, which gives them 7 health regen per 5 seconds. And that is a lot of health regen early on.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the Blood Boil's on Kog'Maw this whole time, but he hasn't been able to really auto-attack much whatsoever. And they got to stay away from that right side of the tower. The bottom side of that purple side tower is a death trap for skill shots. It's so easy to land light bindings when they don't have anywhere to go. They either run back in front of the tower and get close to your team where you'd like to have them, or they eat the skill shots as they try to run directly back.
That's true, and you see that Lux is trying to throw her Lucent Singularity into that giant gap there and trying to force them into that little death trap right there where you say is exactly what it is. It's a death trap. It's like a little funnel for skill shots, and that's actually a really good strategy with Lux. If you place that Lucent Singularity there, to avoid any damage, they have nowhere to go but towards that death trap, where Varus will be lying in wait with his Q, Katarina will be there with her bouncing blades, and the poke will just go down on them, and they have no sustain. So they're just gonna have to take the damage and live with it or die.
Luckily, they've been doing a decent job at clearing out the creep waves with the Brand there to kind of AoE them down. They haven't taken too much tower damage. I mean, they got, they chunked it down about, what, 500 hit points right now. So, like 1/6 of the tower's HP. So it's a very good thing that they haven't actually lost a lot of tower damage, but every wave that comes in there, Varus is getting free attacks on it. They really can't just nuke the creep waves from a distance. All they really have for that is Brand, and if anybody else gets closer, they're eating those light grenades and the harass coming out of that Lux.
That's true, and when Lux hits 6, and I think she just did. Yeah, they just did hit 6. That ultimate is going to do a devastating amount of damage if they decide to engage. I'm pretty sure that purple will have a better counter engage than blue team, mostly because of Hecarim, one with his terrifying ultimate, and Jarvan's Cataclysm, which will single out Lux and Varus if he gets it right. That's the thing. They need to be right on target.
I think it would be a mistake for them to try to tower dive unless they had for sure all of the tower hits going onto the Alistar with the Unbreakable Will up. And as you're saying, they do have the counter engage. I mean, counter engage from Cataclysm and Onslaught of Shadows is really, really strong. I mean, it's a great counter engage. Brand's AoE to a good Cataclysm is awesome for just chunking people down.
Not to mention Nunu's Absolute Zero.
Yes, definitely. But that's one of those synergies that's very hard to get together. Absolute Zero and Cataclysm is really difficult to get at the same place. I mean, you can Absolute Zero outside of the Cataclysm, but it's hard to charge it up when the Cataclysm only lasts, you know, for the 3.5 seconds, and you actually have to run up and start casting it. So by then you only get 2 seconds of cast time before they're able to just kind of walk away from it.
Yeah, but the one thing that gets teams together, and the one thing that gets teams victories, is the synergy. And here we see that counter engage, or that engage. Everything goes down onto Katarina. They pop the Death Lotus. Lucian Singularity comes out, hits the Monarch Kog'Maw. I'm sorry, I'm getting twisted on my words. It's late today. Brand trying to get the counter engage onto Wukong. I'm pretty sure he's gonna suck that. No! He just Nimbus Strike to a minion.
From Wukong getting out of there. So a 4 for 0 trade, I believe. Or no, the cat died. So 4 for 1 trade right there. And they had a good engagement, but they couldn't stop the Katarina Death Lotus. She got a kill, she got a reset, she did a lot of AoE damage to the champions there. And Kog'Maw was in the back laying down some damage, but you know, it's early in the game. He just bought a Brutalizer, actually. So a very interesting pickup on Kog'Maw. Looks like he's gonna go Brutalizer and Berserker Greaves. First tower going down at 834, a very quick tower right there for the blue team as they push in towards the second tower on this one lane matchup.
Right there in that team fight, I tried to say everything that happened in that team fight, and I couldn't do it. It's impossible. Everything went up so fast. I'm pretty sure like 4 or 5 ultimates were popped in the range of around 2 to 3 seconds. There's no way you can say all that at once, because the Lux ultimate went down, the Singularity went in and hit Kog'Maw. That final spark did a ton of damage. Katarina went in, got immediately popped after her ultimate. Alistair went in, the Cataclysm into the Absolute Zero like we were talking about, and also with Hecarim's Onslaught of Shadows completely decimated that fight. And they had that initiation, which is amazing.
Yeah, and it was almost in their tower range, so it was great placement from it as well, but their AoE damage wasn't a match for the AoE damage coming out of Cat and Lux. And then the follow-up Cyclone from Wukong after the Cataclysm was down solidified the kill onto the Kog'Maw as they dove the tower. And now they're kind of pushing their advantage. They're pushing them in, they're poking at the tower, they're getting a couple auto attacks every wave like they want to. Alistair randomly pulverizing right there. But they're not too worried about it. The Warmogs, though, was picked up very, very early on the Jarvan. Surprised he could go back and grab that right away. So we'll see if he can get in there. His Cataclysm's back up. There it is. He's jumping in. He's not going to use Cataclysm. They want to get the engagement, but Lux picking up the Brand on the other side of this fight. She's going to get Cataclysm. She's going to go down. Wukong zoning out the Kog'Maw all by himself. The Onslaught of Shadows used fairly defensively as he gets headbutted out of there. Jarvan trying to pick up the kill. He will flash on top of that cat to pick it up. And Samuel is going to get away with his life, but Kog'Maw is going to die in the process. And it was still a 2 for 3 trade. So still in the favor of the blue team right there. And Kog'Maw didn't get much peel. Even though they were tower diving, they still didn't really peel for the Kog'Maw and keep him alive. They kind of went all in to get the damage in on there.
No, that's true. While all the damage was going on to Lux and Hecarim and Jarvan, we saw Kog'Maw sitting right there next to his turret, getting absolutely decimated by Wukong, and he had no presence in that team fight.
And now they're chasing down the low health blue team. A double kill going out to the Nunu right now, who's almost got a death cap. 211 AP on a level 9 Nunu is very strong. I mean, when you're talking a fully channeled Absolute Zero, even at rank 1, being like 1200 damage, it is nothing to scoff at. snowballs chunking people down, as Lux is finding out right now. And now they have Kog'Maw with level 6, but does not have a tier or anything. So there's no spammable poke that they really are kind of lacking right now, because Lux is able to carry all the poke on her team with that Athene's Unholy Grail.
I wouldn't be surprised. Actually, no, I am surprised that I think a Phage is coming out for Kog'Maw. I'm not sure what he's thinking about that. What I would think to do as Kog'Maw in this situation is I would actually go for something that would chunk them down more effectively. Not a brutalizer. It's not because they're not building. Actually, no, they are not building any armor. The only armor on their team is the armor aura from Runic Bulwark. But I wouldn't really get a brutalizer just yet. I would rush more into late game rather than going for a Black Cleaver. I'd go for a Bloodthirster, a Blade of the Ruined King, and we see the final spark going out onto Kog'Maw, chunking him down very low, and we have the engage.
And the engagement is out, the Cataclysm is down, knocking people out of there. Cat's jumping in there, the Cyclone coming down, doing the majority of the damage as they try to pick up the kill on Cat, which they do not. And she goes crazy with the resets. Various picking up the triple kill. Cat grabbing for those kills. The passive from Kog'Maw grabbing a kill at the very end there. She almost had her down, and then she picked up a couple kills and went insane with the resets. That's going to be the first inhibitor at 13 minutes. And blue team in the driver's seat as they just pile the damage into this purple team. There's not much they can do to get out of it.
I'm pretty sure she was looking at the keyboard. She was waiting for the kill, and then immediately she grabbed her face, smashed it on the keyboard, and started rolling on keys because that was insane. She literally face rolled all over that. That was an immense play by Katarina. I love that.
Now they're trying to chase them down. The Airborne's down onto the Lux. She is in a lot of trouble right now. One more light binding will get in there. Cat, though, is going to pick up another double kill, getting the resets as she comes back into this fight. And they just keep underestimating her burst damage. Wukong chasing down Samuel on that J4. He's going to go down. Enigma picking up that kill. Going to get slowed down as SAS 316 is running away or flapping away on that Monarch Kog'Maw. And I don't think that they're going to be able to do much, and they're going to lose a tower right here. They have super minions pushing, and Kog'Maw is just too low right now to stop them. They have to kill the Cat. They need to CC her. They are having a real issue with her damage right now.
I think that was a miscommunication on Purple Team's side because they didn't know that everybody was up at that moment, and we see Wukong going down to Kog'Maw. The Pulverize comes out onto Hecarim. The Hecarim Onslaught of Shadows goes in onto Katarina. The Pyroclasm comes down, but the damage is not enough. He picks up one kill on Varus, but Varus gets that kill onto Hecarim, and they are aced.
They get aced, but that means that Varus is going to spend his 7,000 gold he had weighing down his pockets, and we'll see what he grabs for items. There's the Sanguine Blade purchased right off the bat, and that's not even half the gold that he had. Not even half of it.
I can't wait till we see the rest of his items. 7 and 1. He had 7 kills before he died. There's the Blade of the Ruined King. That's going to be chunking down Jarvan a lot. That's going to be chunking down Hecarim. That's going to be chunking down everybody a lot.
And he had enough for a Zeal on top of both of those items.
Wow. The amount of gold on this team is insane. We have 8,000 gold onto Varus, which is their leader at the moment. 7,000 gold onto Katarina.
7,000 gold onto Katarina as well, because she's been just cleaning up some of these kills. Varus not getting the last hits on all these kills. A great final spark coming down. Jason Blade is going to barrier. That was so close to be picking up the kill right there. A missed headbutt pulverized, kind of saving Nuna's life right there.
Wukong getting into Kog'Maw, going in with the Cyclone. Can they get the resets onto Katarina? I don't think they can. Oh, there's the reset. There's a kill. Can they clean up? Yes, they can, and I'm pretty sure this is game.
Yeah, that's going to be GG. I mean, they should have seen the Wukong coming because they had a tower there to see him while he was in his decoy stealth form, and now they want this last kill on this brand as he tries to dodge everything. There's a light grenade, and Alistair didn't even need to die for it. GG at 16-23, the fastest game we've seen so far, and that's why you ban the Lux. I mean, I feel like Lux is just too much utility. Not only can she catch people, burst them down, has a huge long-range line of AoE ultimate, but she also has a shield that she can just continually stack onto her teammates, and it does it twice, there and back. So in the middle of a team fight, you can absorb so much extra damage.
That's true. That's very true. And I'm pretty sure that the game goes to Pyro Gaming.